Hello there everyone, how you doing today? I hope you're all well. Today we're going to be reading stories from Am I the Devil, where essentially, people are always terrible. It's like Am I the Asshole, but everyone's horrible, and they should all be exterminated. Anyway, if you enjoy the stories I have for you, remember to like the video, leave a comment, and watch all the way through so the algorithm doesn't shit me in the pants. Now, let's get started, shall we? Am I the asshole for eloping in secret and not telling my BFF before anyone else? My husband and I are both in the military. We met as junior enlisted soldiers. He is now an NCO, and I commissioned as an officer last summer. In the military, our relationship, officer and enlisted, isn't allowed. But since we met and have been in a romantic relationship since we were both junior enlisted, we have regulations to follow regarding the timeline of our marriage. I had this vision of having a wedding in September 21st and doing a full-blown disco for it. Do you remember the 21st night of September? Sick, I know. We toured a venue in February and set our date with them to be September 21st, 2024, and we went on our merry way planning. My best friend involved every step of the way as my matron of honor. I was not supposed to commission until the fall of 2023. Upon my graduation, my state contacted me and wanted to FedRec me as soon as possible, which led me to commission in July 2024 instead of that, and threw off our entire plan of the wedding. We, by regulation, had 1 year for my commissioning date to marry or terminate our relationship at a wedding ceremony, already planned and booked for a date that was beyond that. We decided to elope on what would be our anniversary date anyways, and keep the secret from everyone but our parents. On September 21st, 2023, we had an intimate ceremony with just my parents, his dad, and stepmom. We have spent the last 11 months planning our ceremony this year to break the news to everyone that they are in fact not in attendance of our wedding, but instead a giant first anniversary party, and see the shock on everyone's faces. Well, until last night. I had my bridal shower yesterday. My parents, my best friend, and her husband stayed back to help us clean, and my dad drunkenly let it slip that we got married last year, and my best friend is pissed. Her husband's pissed. We kept saying he can't believe we didn't trust them with the secret. She kept saying that she wouldn't keep anything from me for a year. I told her that she was one person I couldn't wait to find out. I couldn't wait to see her reaction on the big day the most. I was so excited to surprise her specifically with the news. They just weren't happy. They both left. I texted her saying I wanted to surprise them with everyone else. She didn't answer for hours, and when she finally did, she said she wasn't mad, she's just hurt and wants to get together to talk over both sides. I can see where she'd be upset because her sister did something similar this year where she eloped and didn't tell the family beforehand or invite them. But they also had friends present instead of family, and the other people were in the know outside of the family, and we didn't tell anyone. Our parents and those who are in the army sound around us were necessary to know. But this whole point of our wedding ceremony next month is to surprise everyone. Even my husband's best friend has no idea. So am I the asshole for not telling her either? Let's see what some of the comments have to say. Yes, you're the asshole for actively lying to her face for an entire year. While you didn't have any control over the timeline, if you wanted to stay in the military, you did have control over your actions leading up to and after that moment. No, you don't owe anyone any information. But the fact you kept the important details to yourself, that you kept your marriage a secret and were excited to do so, is weird to me. The fact you felt it was necessary to actively lie and hide your marriage for an entire year from people you are supposedly very close with, while actively planning your wedding with these people, is not a move a close friend would make. And I tend to agree. That is not a move a close friend would make. Now, on to the next story, shall we? Am I the asshole for not catering to my wife at a group hangout? I, 36 male, work at a school, so I get summers off, and most of my friends do too. But my partner, 35 female, doesn't, and she also works Saturdays. Yesterday, I spent the day with friends and then called my partner around 6:30 when I knew she was heading home from work. I asked her if she could come pick me up and my friend up from another friend's house, and she said no. I asked her if she wanted to come hang out, and she said no. She was tired from work and just wanted to go home. I told her our friends would really like to see her, and asked for her to come over again, and she reluctantly said yes. When she got there, we were playing a video game. It was a 4-player game, and she was the 5th person. Plus, she said she didn't really want to play, so we just kept playing while she did some stuff on her phone. About an hour after she got there, she started texting me while sitting right next to me on my couch. She wanted to know why I asked her over if she was just gonna play games and ignore her. She complained that she wasn't having fun and said she should have just gone home. I told her sorry and asked what she wanted me to do, and she didn't respond. A little while later, we finished our game and decided to have some dinner. Once the game was over, everyone started chatting and seemed like she was having a good time. We hung out for about an hour after that, and then I was tired, so I told her I was ready to go home. We got home, and I confronted her about the text and her complaints. She said it was really inconsiderate of me just to invite her over, just to ignore her. So I reminded her that she said she didn't want to play and that was her choice. I told her that she didn't understand that life isn't always fun and that sometimes she has to wait to do stuff she doesn't want to do if she wants to have a good time with her friends. She got pretty upset and told me that she knew life isn't always fun. She just finished a 40-hour work week and was looking forward to spending time together. Which we did! Oh no! I was tired of hearing her complain about the video games, and I got angry that she didn't appreciate the time we spent together, and that she was being passive-aggressive with the texting. Things got heated and I left to go clear my head. Now I am wondering if I should have done anything differently when she showed up at our friend's house. Let's see what the comments have to say. Why did you invite her over if you were just going to play video games? And for over an hour? You should have told her on the phone that was the plan, so she could have decided if she wanted to just sit there or go home. Sorry, buddy, you're the asshole. I asked her if she could come pick me and my friends up from another friend's house, and she said no. So I asked her if she wanted to come hang out, and she said no. She was tired from work and just wanted to go home. I told her our friends would really like to see her, and asked her again to come over, and she said yes. You're the asshole. The info above literally just makes it look like you needed a lift home. She didn't want to come, so you guilt-tripped her into coming to see you and your friends, and then you ignored her. Whether you wanted to play or not with your friends, were so desperate to hang out with her, you could have chosen something different to do. You convinced her to come when she was tired from work, actively ignored her, and then when she was actually having fun, you decided you were tired, and then wanted to leave. You are the biggest butthole. I would go so far as to say, you're not even a butthole anymore. You're a hemorrhoid. At least buttholes have a use, expelling waste from one's body. Hemorrhoids, however, are absolutely useless, and that, my friend, is what you are. Now, on to the next story, shall we? Am I the asshole for accusing my BF of hating my dog and wanting him to die? I, 27 female, and my boyfriend, 28 male, have been together for 2 years and living together for a year. I have an 8-year-old pitbull mix named Junior who is currently living with my mom, but my mom is moving to an over 55 apartment and selling her house. She delayed it because of me, but now because of the property taxes on the house have increased a lot. She told me I have until she finished renewing her house and selling her house to take Junior. It caused a lot of fights with her because I cannot find a single spot that will let me take Junior. Junior, even though he's a mix, is very obviously a pit bull. And most landlords do not allow dogs, and when they do, they always request to meet them. All of them say no as soon as they know he's a pit bull. I have literally tried with hundreds of landlords, and even my mom and pop, and no one will let him. The housing market is very expensive and never competitive, and no one wants to rent to a dog owner. Even my friend's corgi had a lot of issues, and most people don't have prejudice against corgis. When I first moved out, I found a place that didn't care about Junior, but the landlord was sketchy and the place was falling apart. Any place that decent won't take my dog. I'm terrified I'll be forced to put Junior into a shelter, where he'll be likely his last days, given his age and breed. All of the no-kill shelters are over capacity, and none of them will take him. I also reached out to my friends and social media if they'll adopt him, but no one wants him. The only people who respond look sketchy, and pit bulls are often exploited, so I won't let him go to a stranger. My boyfriend has a good job, and so do I. Together we would qualify for a home. He even says he wants to be a homeowner and has saved a lot for a down payment. I've talked to him a lot about getting a house because that's the easiest way to ensure Junior will have a place, especially with a yard, which he needs. But he says he doesn't want to buy a house now, together, because we're not married, and we already agreed to date a year or two longer before getting engaged. That's before I knew my dog wouldn't be welcomed in any rental. He refused, and told me to stop asking because he used his down payment to pay off his student loans. He says my dog isn't important enough for him to risk years of savings on buying a house before we are ready. I yelled at him that I was ready, and he clearly wasn't sure about our relationship if he would take away the option of buying a house without discussing it with me. He got mad and yelled back that it's his money, and I yelled he cares more about money than my dog, and he clearly hates him and wants him to die. He left and hasn't come back all weekend and ignored all my texts and calls. I think he is very unbothered and that my dog might not be able to live as he knows everything in this post. But am I the asshole for expecting him to buy a house partly because of my dog? I'm so stressed and literally crying myself to bed, and my boyfriend won't help when he has the solution. You're the asshole. Breed prejudice sucks, and I'm sorry Junior's in such a tough spot. But you can't force someone to buy a house with you to save your dog if they weren't otherwise ready to buy a house with you. That's an enormous financial and legal commitment and requires both of you, not just you, to be ready. Turning a house buying decision into your boyfriend wanting your dog to die is just melodrama. I, for instance, will also not give you my life savings to buy a house for your dog, and I certainly do not hate your dog or want your dog to die. If your boyfriend was telling the same story, my guess is that Reddit would tell him to run. So you may not need to worry about whether he is sure about your relationship, if I'm being completely honest. Welcome to the end card! I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Remember to like the video, leave a comment with your thoughts on some of the stories. And maybe leave a comment. I don't know if I already said that, but that's very important at this point, so the algorithm doesn't go like, Blazaldra! And smack me in the face. Now I will see you all next time. Hasta la pasta.